This is the L2C Media Network on YouTube, and this is Sports Final, brought to you by the L2C Media Network. And now, with the details from headlines that make the world of sports go Olympic, here's our host, Steve the Backman Baxley. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Good evening. Welcome. New look that we got. We got new lighting instruments, so we actually got light, and it feels good. Don't have a pale face or anything, so there we go. Let's get started. I can at least wear my hat. Anyway, let's rock and ride and get you over to our baseball segment. Then we got some Olympic news and everything else for you. As we do, let's take you to baseball, and of course, our scores are presented to you. Almost said sponsored. They're presented to you by the good folk over at William Hill Sportsbooks, who say, let's make it interesting, but we'll make it interesting if you'll do it responsibly. Okay, are we ready for this, or do I have to back in a little bit more here? I know I'm a bit picky, but I'm sort of off here. There we go. I'm usually in the middle. Hey, there we are. Okay, let's get to it. Let's go to the games that are still underway at this moment. Pittsburgh in the top of the sixth. They lead San Francisco by a score of 3-1, 3-4-0 for Pittsburgh. Well, now it's in the bottom of the sixth. We're really quick on the excitement, aren't we? My hat's okay. Oh well. As I was saying, we're in the bottom of the sixth right now. Pittsburgh Pirates lead the San Francisco Giants by a score of 3-1, 3-4-0 for the Pirates, 1-4-0 for the Giants. Top of the fifth inning, the World Series defending champion Los Angeles Dodgers, they lead the Colorado Rockies 4-1, 4-5-1 for Dodgers, 1-3-0 for the lovely Colorado Rockies. Top of the fifth inning, it's the Seattle Mariners over the awesome Oakland Athletics by a score of 3-2, 3-3-0 for the Mariners, 2-5-0 for the Athletics. Let's keep on going, shallst we? Yeah, we shallst. Some final scores for you. The Diamondbacks. Hold on. Let's do it proper. Chicago Cubs beat the Arizona Diamondbacks by a score of 8-3, 8-8-0 for the Cubs, 3-9-0 for the Diamondbacks. Davies, your winner. He's 6-6 for the Cubbies. Gallen, your loser. He's 1-5. Thompson got to save his first for the Chicago Cubs. Another final score, the Baltimore Orioles defeated the Washington Nationals by a score of 6-1, 6-6-0 for the Orioles, 1-5-1 for Washington. Fry gets the win. He's 4-3. Corbin gets the loss. He's 6-9. Phillies over the Bravos, 5-1, 5-8-0 for the Phils, 1-9-0 for the Braves. Wheeler was a dealer. He got the win. He's 8-5. Fried got the loss. He's 7-6. The Cincinnati Reds beat the St. Louis Cardinals by a score of 6-5, 6-14-0 for the Reds, 5-9-2 for the Cardinals. That's right. The Cardinals. The winning pitcher was Brock. He's 1-1. Gallegos went to court, lost, 5-3, and Hembry was got the seventh save of the season. All right, Tampa Bay over the Cleveland Indians. We got news about Cleveland coming up in the headlines. 10-5 was final score. 10-13-0 for Tampa. 5-10-2 for the Cleveland Indians. Weisler was winner for Tampa Bay. He's 3-3. Whitgren was loser for Cleveland. He's 3-3. My gosh, they equaled each other. Final score: New York Mets over the Toronto Blue Jays 3-0, 3-6-0 for the Mets, 0-3-0 for the Blue Jays. McGill gets the win. He's 1-0. Mets gets the loss. He's 8-5. And Diaz gets his 20th save. All right. San Diego Padres, they beat up on the Miami Marlins by a score of 5-2. 5-8-0 for the Pods, 2-8-1 for the Marlins. Musgrove, he was a pitcher. He was never known as a crotch itcher. Anyway, Musgrove gets the win, and that ripoff of a Captain and Tennille song. He's 6-7. Thompson gets a loss. He's 2-3, and Melancon, what's that save you done wrong? That's his 30th save. New York Yankees, Boston Red Sox. What can we tell you? The Red Sox got the stank off of them. 6-2, the final score. 6-9-0 for Boston. 2-6-0 for the Stankies. Rios gets the win for Boston. He's 3-0. Cole gets a loss for New York. He's 10-5. Tigers' 7-game winning streak ended tonight against the Kansas City Royals. They beat them by a score of 5-3. Bubik gets the win. He's 3-4. Peralta gets the loss. He's 3-2. And Holland gets save for Kansas City. The seventh save for the season. Rangers. Oh, man, did they do terrible or what? Houston Astros beat the Texas Rangers 7-3, 7-8-0 for Houston, 3-6-1 for Texas. Belloc was winner for Houston. He's 3-3. Allard gets a loss. He's 2-8. Twins beat the Angels 5-4, 5-13-1 for Minnesota, 4-10-2 for Los Angeles Angels. Minaya gets the win. He's 1-0. Iglesias gets lost. He's 6-4. And Rogers gets his 9th save of the season. Brewers over the White Sox 7-1, 7-8-0 for the Brewers, 1-5-0 for the White Sox. Hauser gets the win. He's 6-5. And Giolito gets a loss. He's 8-7. And folks, believe it or not, that's all the scores we got for you. Shocking, but absolutely true. Let's check the standings while we're here in our little Major League Baseball segment. Hi. And let's start off with the American League East. Boston continues to be the top bow wow. They are one up on Tampa. By the way, Boston, top bow wow, 60-38. They're one game up over Tampa Bay at 59-39. 9 up on the New York Yankees at 50-46. 9.5 up on Toronto at 48-45. And 27 up on Baltimore at 32-64. In the AL Central, Chicago White Sox top dog at 59-39, 9 games up on Cleveland at 48-47, 12 up on third place Detroit, 47-52, 16.5 up on Minnesota, 42-56, y'all. And 17 up on Kansas City, 40-55. The AL West getting a little bit tight now, with Houston still the top dog at 59-39. Oakland, they're 3 up on Oakland, 56-42. 7.5 up on Seattle, which is 51-46. 8 up on Los Angeles Angels, 47-49. And 21 up on Texas, which is 35-63. Let's go to where all the fun is, and that is National League East. It's starting to cinch up, but not much. Mets are still the top Bow Wows at 51-43. The Philadelphia Phillies, they are 4 up on the Philadelphia Phillies, 48-48. 5 up on the Atlanta Braves at 47-49. 7 up on 45 on Washington at 45-51, and 12 up on Miami, 41-57. The National League Central, which early on this season was about as interesting as I move my camera over here. It was about as interesting as watching flies fly around. Well, it's starting to look like a little breaking down of the herd. Let's give you an example. Milwaukee still top dog at 57-41. They're 6.5 up on Cincinnati at 50-47. 8 up on St. Louis at 49-49. What has happened to the Chicago Cubs? They are 9 up. Yeah, Milwaukee is 9 up on the Cubs at 48-50. They were in first place in the early season. Now they're just falling apart. Speaking of falling apart, Milwaukee's 20 up on Pittsburgh at 36-60. Let's go now to the NL West. You got San Francisco, the Giants, still top of the heap at 61-35. 3 up on the defending World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers at 59-39. 5 up on San Diego at 58-42. 19 up on Colorado at 42-54. And we hate to do this, but they are the lousers of the league. They are 32.5 up on Arizona. Can't get any lower than that. They are the worst in all of baseball. Let's check in on the wild card situation. And the AL in the American League, Boston, top Bow, as we said, in the East at 60-38. Houston gets the West at 59-39. And the White Sox get Central at 58-39. So who are the two teams that are destined, that are right now in those coveted 2 top wildcard spots? They happen to be Tampa and Oakland. Tampa with a 59-39 record. Oakland at 56-42. Seattle is close behind at 51-46. Let's see. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yankees follow behind at 50-46. Toronto 48-45. Cleveland 48-47. Angels 47-49. Detroit is at 47-52. Let's check the NL National League. The division leaders, as we told you, San Francisco in the West, 60-35. Milwaukee in the Central, 57-41. And the Mets in the East at 51-43. And the 2 wildcard teams as of this hour, the defending World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers at 59-39, and the San Diego Padres at 58-42. The rest of the pack is still the same. Cincinnati, 50-47. Philadelphia, 48-48. St. Louis, 49-49. Atlanta, 47-49. Cubbies, 48-50. Washington, 45-51. Colorado, 42-54. And all the rest are there. Now, I told you we had some major baseball news, and we did. And we do. So what is this news you speak of, Steve? Well, that's simple. As we told you yesterday, if you're ready for this, as we told you yesterday, the Cleveland Indians were going to announce the new name for the franchise, and we got it today. And I find it a little cool, the explanation. The Cleveland Guardians. That's right. It was drawn from the iconic Guardians of Traffic statue from a nearby bridge. That's right. The Cleveland Indians playing their final season in 2021. Once the season ends, franchise will have a new name, the Cleveland Guardians. Yay. Now, take note, if you're going to watch the video for the explanation done by Tom Hanks around the minute 20 mark of the video and see the statues on the bridge, those are the quote unquote guardians of traffic. Iconic in the Cleveland area, the 43-foot statues have stood on that Hope Memorial Bridge for almost 100 years, and you can see Progressive Field in the background while looking at them. Now, the guardians of traffic are meant to symbolize the spirit of progress, and that lines up with dropping the name that has been deemed offensive. Pat Dolan said in a press release, quote, "We are excited to usher in the next era of the deep history of baseball in Cleveland. Cleveland has and always will be the most important part of our identity. Therefore, we wanted a name that strongly represents the pride, resiliency, and loyalty of Clevelanders. Guardians reflects those attributes that define us while drawing on the iconic Guardians of Traffic just outside the ballpark on the Hope Memorial Bridge. It brings to life the pride Clevelanders take in our city and the way we fight together for all who choose to be part of the Cleveland baseball family. Now, while Indians will always be a part of our history, our new name will help unify our fans and the city as we are all Cleveland Guardians." He continues, "Through our research and discussions, we identified a few key themes that were most important to fans: connection to the city of Cleveland, honoring our rich baseball history, and unite our community. And we believe Guardians upholds all three of those pillars," end quote. That is also what Brian Barron said, the Cleveland president of business operations, in a press release. Now, with change, the team will keep its same color scheme. The uniforms won't likely be altered much at all. Note the Indians and Guardians both end in Ians, so seeing the full name looks pretty familiar. The road uniforms don't sound like they'll be any different aside from the minor tweaks. They'll still have Cleveland across the chest. At home, though, the plans for a team to don jerseys with Guardians across the chest. That is not bad. Personally, my benefit, and obviously some fans' benefit, it would have been a good name for the Cleveland team? Cleveland Rockers, because Cleveland is indeed the home, though actually it should be Detroit, the home, of the Rock and Roll Museum. So there you go. Huzzah, huzzing, hazzoodle. There ye be. Keep going with college football, and wow. Two teams, one big wish, and everybody is blowing. And there's even talk of some other college football conferences maybe merging or moving some teams to other leagues. But we're getting ahead ourselves in this little storied tale. Let's get you an update. Now, Texas and Oklahoma, that's who started it all. Texas and Oklahoma are expected to declare their intention to leave the Big 12 in as soon as 24 to 48 hours. A prominent Big 12 source told CBS Sports on Friday. The Longhorns and Sooners are set to inform the Big 12 on Monday that they will not be renewing their grant of rights agreement with the conference. A Big 12 source intimately involved in the process told CBS Sports, "On the condition of anonymity." Quote, "I'm not saying it's 100%, but it's close to it in terms of being a done deal. It could be as soon as 24, 48 hours, and as long as 2 weeks before we have any clarity in terms of timing," said the source in reference to when Texas and Oklahoma would expect to formally join the SEC. If the programs were an effort to afford a SEC debut in 2022, each could owe up to $80 million Big 12 as a penalty for leaving before the current rights deal expires after the 2024-2025 season. That total equals the combined revenue distribution per school of the last 2 years. Now, for that reason, the timing remains perhaps the biggest unknown. Now, would Texas and, as I bend over to pick up a drink, would Texas and, for that matter, Oklahoma play 4 more seasons in the Big 12? I mean, really, would they want to play 4 more seasons in the Big 12? To avoid paying penalties that would contribute to a long, ugly exit that one source compared to a bad divorce. We all know some people who had those. Okay, we keep going as my mom is watching a rebroadcast of the Olympic Games, the opening ceremonies. I'll give you my review of those tomorrow night. Let's see. Let's go back to the headlines here. The source told CBS Sports, quote, I still think there is a clarity in terms of timing. If it's finalized in a week or two and it's for next year, both of those institutions are going to owe the Big 12 a lot of money. The lack of clarity and timing of this is key. When and how? The University of Texas Regents Chair Kevin Elfite initiated the pitch, sources told CBS Sports, on Thursday. Elfite is a 62-year-old commercial real estate investor in Tyler, Texas, who served in the Texas Senate from 2014 to 2013. He was appointed as a regent to the University of Texas system by Governor Greg Abbott in 2019. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey would not address the reports while in attendance at this year's SEC Media Days on Wednesday. Neither would Texas or Oklahoma, figures. They are the most prominent original members of the reformed Big 12, which emerged in 96 as the former Big 8 added teams from the defunct Southwest Conference. However, the Big 12 was reduced to 10 teams during the last round of realignment a decade ago and has struggled to reclaim its footing among its Power 5 peers. University of Texas and Oklahoma have propped up the league since its reduction in size, and with their departure imminent, it could put the Big 12 on the brink of collapse. Now, the source, who spoke with CBS Sports, said the conference was not surprised at Texas' secrecy. However, it was disappointed in Oklahoma. Commissioner Bob Brolsby, well, the source, it wasn't the commissioner, obviously, but the source said, as you can imagine, this stung. Commissioner Bob Bowlesby feels absolutely betrayed. Now, multiple outlets reported Friday that Texas and Oklahoma had been in talks with the SEC for months prior to Wednesday's revelation. Now, addition to the Longhorns and the addition of the Longhorns and Sooners would make the SEC the first 16-team super conference. A development long discussed as a possibility should there be another round of conference realignment, while simultaneously adding massive brand power to a league already seen as the best in college sports. Now, the programs have faced resistance from Texas A&M of the SEC and Oklahoma State of the Big 12, which have respective vested interest in Texas and Oklahoma remaining in the Big 12. Now, as for the SEC, its bylaws state that 11 of 14 institutions must vote in the affirmative to invite new members to the conference. There may be some current SEC teams, in addition to Texas A&M, that may be a little reluctant to accept additional league members for a myriad of reasons, including concerns about future expansion into their states. However, Pete Thamel of Yahoo Sports reports that, quote, getting 11 of 14 votes doesn't appear to be the issue. Well, that's what it is. Money is a subject, folks. What can we tell you? Money is a subject. By the way, before we go on any further with the broadcast, want to remind you folks that Nick Ricada, the humble Minnesota attorney, lawyer, has his Friday night edition of Arcade Law coming up in about a couple of minutes. And tonight is a semi-regular to the broadcast, Mr. Ty Beard. So midnight Central Time, Lost Explain the interwebs with Nick Rakita and Ty Beard tonight on that lovely little ship known as the Arcade Law Channel. Okay, let's get back to here and give you more, including possibility that the Big Ten could be making a few moves. Now, how about the options for remaining Big 12 teams when or if Texas and Oklahoma leave for the SEC? Well, where does that, if they do leave, where does that leave the Big 12? The conference lost Nebraska to the Big 10, Colorado to the Pac 12, and Missouri and Texas A&M to the SEC during the last realignment phase roughly 10 years ago. It made up for those losses by adding TCU, kept the ship afloat for the rest of the decade. Now that ship once again is sinking. Now, where can the other 8 schools land? Of course, it's possible for the Big 12 to add some teams to try and stay attractive to TV partners, but in a new era of college football that includes 6 automatic college football playoff bids for conference champions, and no matter what conference they come from, it's safe to say that the Big 12 could fall way behind in an era that will place less relevance on Power 5, Group of 5 status. Now, here are the potential landing spots for remaining 8 schools, assuming that the Big 12 gets the big wonton. Baylor can go to the All-American Conference. That's nice. Iowa State, they can go to the Big 10, which technically makes a lot of sense, especially when their rival is powerhouse Iowa in the Big 10 West. Kansas, they're also a member of the Association of American Universities, the prestigious academic group that the Big 10 holds dear. The football program is elite, but still, the basketball program is amazing. As long as it doesn't get bogged down in further NCAA trouble, football drives decisions like this. At this point, though, it's not like there will be football superpowers to go around. The Big Ten will be a monster on the hardwood, and maybe, just maybe, the Big Ten West is what Kansas needs to become more than a punchline on the gridiron. Good luck. Kansas State, the Midwest Conference. Oklahoma State can go to the Pac-12 along with TCU, with Texas Tech in the All-American League, West Virginia in the ACC. There you go. Now, should the Big Ten have room for Iowa and Kansas, who do they get rid of? There's a lot of people that say they should get rid of Nebraska and Rutgers. They haven't done much of anything for the Big Ten Conference. We will find out. Let us go now for more headlines. In the National Football League, Malik Hooker is expected to sign with the Cowboys following the second visit with the team. According to Patrick Walker, the CBS Sports Cowboys insider, Dallas is set to meet with Hooker for a second time this offseason. Originally, the club passed on adding the 25-year-old to the roster and brought in DeMonte Kazee instead, largely due to Kazee being further along in his injury recovery, per, of course, Patrick Walker. That said, the team does want to gauge where Hooker is at now that a few months have somehow and since passed. If everything checks out and his physical price is reasonable, it does appear like the second meeting will end in him officially joining the 90-man roster. Michael Galkin of the Dallas Morning News even adds that the team is expected to sign him so long as everything checks out medically. That ain't bad. All right. Okay, next report from the NBA. And, Los Angeles Lakers have been doing some major dirty flirting with DeMar DeRozan for years now. They pursued him when he was a free agent in 2016, but at the point, Kobe Bryant just retired and the team was not ready to compete, so he ultimately decided to re-sign with the Toronto Raptors. He was linked to the Lakers in trade rumors last offseason as well before they ultimately landed on Dennis Schroeder, but afterwards he admitted he was flattered by their interest. Yes, flattered, fluttering the eyes. Now, DeRozan grew up in SoCal. He played collegiately at USC. He is a stylistic disciple of Bryant's in the mid-range. The mutual interest between the two has always made sense, and now a union appears likelier than ever. According to LA Times scribe Brad Turner, DeRozan is even willing to go so far as to take a pay cut to join the Lakers. But here's the real question. How big a pay cut is he willing to take? He makes $27.7 million last season. The Lakers are far above the salary cap. Their likeliest path to signing DeRozan would be through the taxpayer mid-level exception worth around $5.9 million. In the event that DeRozan is not willing to accept the 75% pay-up cut, the Lakers could also engineer a sign and trade for him from San Antonio, but that could be costly. Aside from the value of the actual content, acquiring any player with a acquiring this figures. Let's see, low expectation worth roughly $5.9 million. In the event that DeRozan is not willing to accept a 75% pay cut, the Lakers could also engineer a sign and trade for him in San Antonio, but that could be a lucky save. Anyway, so right now, kind of looks like the former All-Star for Spurs is willing to take a pay cut to join the Lakers and be part of a very strong team. Well, strong that they still have LeBron James. All right. In the National Football League, boy, oh boy, has the NFL become truly a no-fun league. Here's the latest. Rick, to say that COVID-19 vaccinations is a hot topic in the NFL is an understatement. On one hand, you have Buffalo Bills wide receiver Cole Beasley publicly denouncing vaccinations, and on the other, you have the league issuing a damning memo promising game forfeiture and stiff financial penalties and more if a contest can't be played due to a breakout stemming from unvaccinated players, followed by all-pro wideout DeAndre Hopkins questioning his future in the NFL because of it. Now, many in Minneapolis have set a massive precedent for their of their own. The Vikings have parted ways per ESPN's Courtney Cronin. The club's offensive line coach and run game coordinator is out of a gig. In his place, Minnesota will promote assistant G-line coach Phil Rocher and hire Auburn special team talents Elision. There. So there you go. There's a headline right there. And it is time, folks, to give you some report of the Olympics. Do we have any medals to report on? Let's go to the medal count first. China is the top dog right now. They have 1 gold, no silver, no bronze, for a total of 1. Russian Olympic folk have no gold, one silver, no bronze. Switzerland has their first medal of these games. It is a bronze. Beyond that, everybody else is a blank sheet right now. There you go. And here's what's coming up on day 2. The softball opening round, USA taking on Mexico. That's at 1:30 a.m. Women's beach volleyball, USA versus China at 8. Women's gymnastics qualification, 9 or 8 p.m. for USA China. The women's gymnastic qualifications are at 9 p.m. USA versus Australia in softball, the opening round, 9 a.m. Swimming finals of the women's 100 butterfly, men's 100 breaststroke, women's 400 and men's 4 by 100 freestyle. And that's 24th. Here's day 3, the men's 66 kilogram and women's 52 kilogram judo medal round at 4 in the morning. The men's soccer group play. Brazil takes on the Ivory Coast. As you know, Team USA not in the Olympics for the men. So there you go on that one. Brazil and the Ivory Coast at 4:30. Men and women's fencing rounds will be at 6:50. Men's basketball preliminary round, the U.S. and France at 8 a.m. The softball opening round between U.S. and Japan at 9, and that's 9 p.m. And the swimming finals, the men's and women's 400 individual medley. Men and women's 400 meter freestyle, the women's 4x100 relay at 9:30 p.m. We will always, during these 2 weeks, check on the Olympics. It is still early on in the broadcast to give you a prime little cha-cha dance, but nonetheless, we did good. All right, let's one more. All right. Let's we've already trying to think right now. Have we officially done our Olympic report? I do believe yes. By the way, we have mini updates for you. The first beach volleyball match has been canceled due to COVID-19. The U.S. women's gymnastics are not staying in the Olympic Village. Obvious reason why for that. Thank you, boys. I'm taking off my chaper. Golf is out of the Olympics after testing positive for COVID. And Naomi Osaka lights the torch at the opening ceremonies of the Tokyo Olympics. I thought the opening ceremony was very quaint. It was different because there were about 5% of a crowd at the stadium where they held it. And I will go so far as to say that excuse me. I'm excused. Ha ha. Okay. Let's kick over to the BBC, for some soccer scores, because it's obvious we still got to talk about soccer. By the way, Australian football has started. We'll give you an update on the scores shortly. Right now, let's give you some scores of football. Football in the Australian Bundesliga. FC Red Bull Salzburg over Sturm Graz 3-1. In Belgian First Division A, KRC Genk and Standard Liège 1 in a 1-1 stalemate. In the Russian Premier League, Dynamo Moscow beats Rostov. Okay, and finally in the U.S. Major League Soccer matches, Orlando over Philadelphia 2-1, Seattle over Austin 1-0. Okay, let's take you over to awful announcing. And remember on the 21st on our big show, we said that Mariah Taylor was going to leave ESPN. I mean, we agreed with several reports. We even went so far as to say that she will show up for the Olympics in Tokyo when she signs. Well, today she made it official. Maria Taylor has signed with NBC now, and the announcement was made during the live opening ceremonies, which at around 6:55 a.m. They are being replayed tonight. And then on most of the NBC broadcast family, it's day one of the Olympics. So here we go. On Friday, NBC announced the quick hiring of former ESPN reporter and host Maria Taylor, which was expected during her since her official departure from ESPN on Wednesday. Now, Taylor will start her role at NBC with the Olympics and will also be a part of the network's NFL coverage and their coverage of other sports. NBC formally made the announcement during its live coverage of the Olympic opening ceremonies in Tokyo, and of course, again on tape delay. Let's see. Taylor was setting up a segment on the U.S. women's gymnastics team. Wasn't bad. Here's more from NBC's little release. Maria Taylor, whose work has already included many of the biggest events in sports, joins NBC Sports beginning with the Tokyo Olympics. She comes to NBC after nearly a decade at ESPN, ABC, and ESPN, where she most recently hosted the NBA Finals earlier this week. Now, highlighted by host roles for the Olympics and the NFL, including as a host and contributor for Football Night in America and the Super Bowls. Taylor will work across premier NBC sports properties in Tokyo. Her very first assignment, she'll join Mike Tirico as co-host for Prime Plus and will also serve as a correspondent. And there you go. The hiring of Taylor is undoubtedly a coup for NBC and one that the network reportedly wanted to push over the line prior to the end of the NBA Finals. It didn't happen with Taylor staying at ESPN through the end of the finals on Tuesday before the network announced she gone. Now, over the last month or so, the situation regarding Taylor's contract spiraled. ESPN's initial extension offer to Taylor reportedly took a significant cut this summer as the end of her deal approached, with Disney in cost-cutting mode. Soon after, news of Rachel Nichols' comments from 2020 surfaced, leading to an on-air apology and from Nichols to Taylor, and controversy about ESPN's treatment of black employees. Taylor's departure now leaves two significant holes: the NBA Countdown hosting position, but I think they've already found that with Malika Andrews, and the top college football reporter position, again with Malika Andrews. Let's see. Out of the three, Cassidy Hubbarth, Malika Andrews, and of course Rachel Nichols. I'm going to say it. Andrews should be given that nod. Anyway, who's going to take the college football coverage? It's either going to be Molly McGrath, Holly Rowe, or Allison Williams. Stand by and we'll find out all of that now. Now then, now then. Uh, okay, I'm up. Okay, by the way, Neil Everett and Ashley Brewer have new deals with ESPN. Everett and Brewer will form part of the 1 a.m. Sports Center rotation in Los Angeles. That's right. So, congratulations. Everett and Brewers yeah. Everett and Brewers joined Stan Verrett, who also recently signed a new deal, and Linda Cohn as anchors based at the LA Production Center on a rotating basis. The four will host the 1 a.m. Eastern edition of Sports Center that originates from Los Angeles and contribute to the 11 p.m. edition that originates from the home base in Connecticut. There you go. There you go, folks. Happy landings on a chocolate star. Okay, that gives us one last little breath. NASCAR taking a 2-week vacation for the Olympics. So there you go. Let's see if we got some international sports for you. And, well, doesn't look like we do. Both Japan and Korean baseball leagues have gotten the day off and probably the 2 weeks off for the Olympics. Anyway, that, my friends, we have about 4 minutes left, and then I will be taking my bows. By the way, we have our new light, as we said. It has 2 settings, a little mood light right there, and even more mood light. And, of course, hey, a little bright light to just make things, a little bit better. Anyway, I'm glad we got all this. Now we're actually confident that we can do a lot with this show now, and we plan to. Anyway, that's going to wrap things up for us tonight. We have done the impossible. We've went 47 minutes, and we've done our Olympics bit. So, folks, there's nothing left to say except thank you for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow night, 11:35. More of the same. Oh yeah, we should do this because it is of the utmost importance. Australian Football League action tonight. And right now we're going to go to the Salut. Let's give you the matches for week 19. Last night it was Port Adelaide over Collingwood, 97-69. Right now in the second quarter, it is North Melbourne 20, Carlton 17. So that is the story right there, believe it or not. And that is about the size of it right there. We have done it. We got a lot of things to do tomorrow. We still got sports for you tomorrow. Not just the Olympics, but a whole lot of things to talk about. We'll do that tomorrow night. Look for a couple of new broadcasts being recorded tomorrow. And I will be reading Super Dead tomorrow. And the topic of Steve Baxley speaking on sports will, of course, be not only the Olympics, but we'll tackle some other things as well. Mainly, did Maria Taylor play all of us? and also her now former bosses. And is Rachel Nichols about to be used as a scapegoat? Only opinions. We'll talk about that on Steve Exley Speaking on Sports. It'll be all recorded tomorrow afternoon. But for now, folks, we hope you'll tune in tomorrow to some of the fun and excitement we have for you. We will be back here on these very same airwaves tomorrow night, 11:35 Eastern, live as live can get, unless something big happens and we have to delay ourselves. But folks, for right now, that is going to be a wrap for us. This is Steve the Baxman Baxley, and you've been watching Sports Final presentation of Mystifying Creativity Productions in association with L2C Media Network and L2C Sports. We'll talk to you all tomorrow. Until then, good night on the East Coast and good morning on the West Coast. We'll talk to you all tomorrow. Thank you. Good night. God bless and take it easy.